This is after Jerusalem has been destroyed. This prophecy is supposed to happen. At the time JC was on earth, Jerusalem was still standing. All you have to do, that's what I told the brother the other day, study history if you want to understand this chapter. Read that again. JC didn't die until he died. Matter of fact, the temple wasn't destroyed until 70 years after JC died. JC talked about the temple. Hold this page and go to St. Matthew's, the 24th chapter. Look what it says in Matthew's 24. That's reading, you should never let no knucklehead pull this book out telling you that JC is the one that's spoken of in the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter. Look what JC said in Matthew's 24:1. Start reading.
And JC went out and departed from the temple.
He went and departed from the temple. The temple is still standing. They used to go to the temple in Jerusalem. Titus didn't invade Jerusalem and destroy the temple until 70 AD. The temple is still, 70 years after JC had died. The temple is standing here. Read that again.
And JC went out and departed from the temple.
And he departed from the temple.
And his disciples came to him.
And his disciples came to him.
For to show him the buildings of the temple.
And they came to show him the buildings of the temple.
And JC said unto them, see ye not all these things?
See all these things about the temple.
Verily I say unto you.
Verily I say unto you.
There shall not be left here one stone upon another.
When it's all over, there will not be standing here one stone upon another. This is going to be destroyed. He's telling them this. Jeremiah told him this. Isaiah told him this. The temple is still standing at this time. At the time of Ezra, it was destroyed. They went back after the 70-year captivity to build it up. Keep reading.
There shall not be left here one stone upon another.
There shall not be left here one stone upon the other.
That shall not be thrown down.
That shall not be thrown down. They're dealing with the temple. The temple is still standing at that time. It wasn't destroyed until 70 AD. So how are you going to put this, speaking of JC, being cut off when he was dead 70 years before this occurred? This is not his prophecy at all. Don't let nobody take you and say, no, he was cut off in the midst of the week. He stopped listen, the abomination of desolation didn't occur until the destruction of the temple. JC talked about the abomination of desolation. Look in verse 15.
When ye therefore shall see.
When ye therefore shall, meaning in the future. When ye therefore shall see.
The abomination.
The abomination that make it.
Desolation.
That make it desolate.
Spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
Spoken of, he's quoting Daniel. Here, this man is quoting Daniel.
Stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Then let them be
in Judea flee into the mountains. Now go back to Daniel 9. Like I said, you don't have to even have a good Torah to understand this is not talking about JC. If you know history, if you don't know the history, you have to know the Bible. That's the reason I studied the New Testament too, because I know that this history is not jiving with each other. You can't claim this JC when this has already occurred. You understand? But if you don't and can't prove that JC spoke about the temple and was standing while he was speaking, then it'd be hard. Then you have to go to history and say, well, it wasn't even destroyed until 70 AD by Roman Emperor Titus. That was 70 AD. JC he had been dead 70 years at that time. Now watch this. Watch how you can see through this real clear. I'm going to read it again. I'm reading out of your book now, just with the lies they got, and look how clear it gets. 70 weeks are determined upon the people and upon the holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sin and to make reconciliations for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and seal up the vision and prophecy and anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand. Notice what they say. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to rebuild, to restore, and to build Jerusalem until the Messiah. Did you understand that language? Did that get past you? Let me try it again. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks. And then they got a comma and 62 weeks and try to throw it in. And we know that's deceit, but let's keep reading. The streets shall be built again, and the walls in troublesome time. He was dead when they went to rebuild the walls, and they rebuilt it in troublesome times. How do I know that? Because I know the scriptures. Who is the Messiah that was given the order to come and rebuild Jerusalem? Who is the holy anointed one that Yahweh told to come and rebuild Jerusalem? Turn your book to Isaiah 45. Start reading at verse 1.
Isaiah 45:1. Thus saith Yahweh to his anointed, to Cyrus.
What? Here's a foreigner. This man is not even Israelite. And it's sending shivers down Israelites' back because Yahweh is calling a foreigner, a Persian, his anointed, because he anointed him to do a job. The Masikah. Almighty never even mentioned JC's name. And he mentioned Messiah and called the anointed one Cyrus. Mentions him in the book of Isaiah. Mentions Cyrus and talked about him in the book of Jeremiah. And talks about him in the book of Daniel. And then said a word about JC, who's supposed to be his firstborn son, his everlasting son. That he so loved the world that he gave to the world and said, this is my only begotten son, who's the way, the truth, and the light. And nobody can come to me except by him. But he's not even mentioned. Almighty don't talk about JC. But he called Cyrus his anointed. Now what did he anoint this man to do? Read.
Thus saith Yahweh to his anointed, to Cyrus.
To Cyrus.
Whose right hand I have holden.
The Almighty said, with right hand I will uphold.
To subdue nations.
And I will take Cyrus and use him to subdue nations.
Before him. And I will loose the loins of kings.
And I will loose the loins of kings with Cyrus.
To open before him the two levied gates.
To open before Cyrus the two-headed gates.
And the gates shall not be shut.
And they shall not be shut when they open.
I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight.
And I will go before thee, Cyrus, and make the crooked places straight.
I will break in pieces the gates of brass.
I will break in pieces the gates of brass.
And cut in sunder the bars of iron. I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, Yahweh, which called thee by thy name, am the Elohim of Israel.
I'm never going to call you by your name, Cyrus. I didn't call JC or Jesus. I call you Cyrus, though, because everybody I love, I give a name. Your name is Cyrus. Call you by your name. Keep reading.
For Jacob's my servant's sake,
For Jacob, my servant's sake.
and Israel mine elect,
My elect is Israel now.
I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. I am Yahweh, and there is none else.
Now, where did Yahweh say he's going to use Cyrus to rebuild and store Jerusalem, as it is mentioned in the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter?